Hello and welcome. There's breaking news coming in on Top of India First. A man has been taken into custody for allegedly murdering his wife for refusing to wear a burqa in Mumbai. This incident is being reported from the financial capital of India, where Iqbal Muhammad Sheikh has now been arrested by the Mumbai police after he is alleged to have slit his wife Rupali's throat. According to the Mumbai police, Iqbal Muhammad Sheikh and his family were forcing his wife Rupali ever since the wedding 3 years ago to wear a burqa, which incidentally she constantly refused to wear. She refused to wear a burqa. She refused to follow Islamic religious practices. Rupali and Iqbal Muhammad Sheikh also had a 2-year-old child. Information that's just coming in. This seems to indicate that Rupali had also started living separately from Iqbal Muhammad Sheikh, since she never wanted to either wear a burqa or follow Islamic traditions. They would occasionally speak on phone, but even in their recent conversations, they would end up fighting more often than not about custody of their child. Now, late yesterday, Iqbal Sheikh called her, and then, according to eyewitnesses and Rupali's family, in a fit of rage, repeatedly stabbed her in the throat and the chest. Let's listen in to Inspector Vilas Rathore, Senior Police Inspector in charge of investigations of this case.
महिला को मुस्लिम जो रीति रिवाज है उस तरह से बर्ताव करने के लिए बोलते थे। कपड़े मुस्लिम रीति रिवाज के जो बुर्का है वो पहनने के लिए बोलते थे, लेकिन ये महिला वैसा नहीं कर रही थी। 26 तारीख को दोनों में बातचीत हुई फोन पे, तभी महिला ने डिवोर्स मांगा उससे। तो वो जो आरोपी है उसने डिवोर्स देने से मना किया और उनका 2 साल का जो बच्चा है उसका ताबा मांगा। तब इन्होंने इनकार किया महिला ने, उसी वजह से गुस्से में आके उसने मर्डर किया है, ऐसा कंप्लेंट दिया है।
जिस क्रूरता से, बड़ी निर्ममता के साथ, बर्बरता के साथ महिला की हत्या की गई, जो भी ये हत्यारे होंगे, महाराष्ट्र की सरकार इसकी पूरी तफ्तीश करेगी। सभी तथ्यों को खंगालकर जो भी दोषी होगा उस पर कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई होगी। अब ये कोई उद्धव की खामोश बैठने वाली सरकार नहीं है, ये सख्ती से पेश आने वाली सरकार है। जो भी गुनहगार होंगे वो जेल के सलाखों के पीछे जाएंगे।
I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Mustafa Sheikh for more on this story. Mustafa, what more are we hearing about Rupali's reported reluctance to wear a burqa and follow Islamic practices? And do we have details who all were mounting pressure on her?
Well, as well, more details are coming out in this case, Gaurav. What we're hearing is that Rupali Chandrasekhar was being pressurized by Muhammad Iqbal's family members and he himself, and that is why that she had started to stay away from him. As you rightly said, that it was 3 years of marriage, they have a 2-year-old child, and there was an argument over custody of that child and over divorce, and that led to attack, and he was stabbed multiple times by her husband, which led to her death, and the police have arrested him and booked him under charges of murder. But it's true, according to the sister of Rupali, that she was being pressurized to follow Islamic religious practices as per her husband's family and her husband, and that is why a difference grew between their relationship. She had started staying separately, but it didn't end there. She was stabbed by her own husband, and who has now been arrested by Telangana police. Back to you,
Mustafa, for the moment. Many thanks for joining me. Let me now shift focus to our top story on India First. Another round of raids on the radical Islamist organization, the Popular Front of India. Remember, on the 22nd of September, there were a series of raids, 93 different locations across 15 states that led to the arrest of 106 activists, leaders and cadres and supporters of the Popular Front of India. Now, these raids, again, based on interrogation and investigations carried out from the 22nd till the 27th, has resulted in raids that were conducted across 8 states. Several FIRs have been registered. Close to 170 people have been taken into custody. Some arrested, many under preventive detention. The police say this so far is a part of the biggest crackdown on this radical Islamist organization. The Enforcement Directorate, the National Investigation Agency and several state police forces are jointly carrying out these investigations.
A nationwide crackdown, the second in less than a week by the NIA, other investigative agencies and state police forces. Raids in narrow alleys, clusters, hideouts, homes and offices. The operation spread across 8 states, from Assam in the northeast to Karnataka in the south, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi up north, Maharashtra and Gujarat in the west.
PFI के नेटवर्क को पूरी तरह से ध्वस्त किया जा रहा है। पूरी प्रदेश में सतर्कता बढ़ा दी गई है। लोग सर्विलांस में हैं। हम किसी भी स्थिति में उत्तर प्रदेश में गैरकानूनी गतिविधियों को अनुमति नहीं देंगे। हम कड़ी कार्रवाई करेंगे। उसी के तहत लगातार कार्रवाई चल रही है।
More than 170 members and functionaries linked to the Popular Front of India taken into custody in this fresh round of raids. The most intensive of which took place in pole-bound Karnataka. At least 60 members of the PFI and its so-called political wing, the SDPI, held across a number of districts in the southern state, including some of the controversial organization's top functionaries.
ಅದು ಕೋಮ್ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಧಕ್ಕೆ ತರೋದು ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಏನಿದೆ ಕಿ ಬಹಳ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಕುಮ್ಮಕ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಚೋದನೆ ಕೊಡೋದು ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ಕೂಡ ಏನಿದೆ ಕಿ ಅವರು ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಸಮಾಜದ ಒಂದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಭಂಗ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಈ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ NIA ಮತ್ತೆ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ದಾಳಿ ಆಯಿತು ಆ ನಂತರ ಕೆಲವು ಜನ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
The news has tightened and a ban might be looming on the organization that calls itself a social movement, but faces a host of charges including links with outlawed groups like Simi and Indian Mujahideen, terror funding, possessing firearms, promoting extremism and inciting unrest, and deadly assaults on political ideological adversaries. Believed to be active in more than 20 states, the Popular Front of India has large concentration in Kerala and Karnataka. The organization shot to notoriety when members linked to it chopped off the hand of a college professor, TJ Joseph, in Kerala, accusing him of insulting the Prophet in an examination. The dossier of charges against the outfit has since expanded. Over the years, a number of alleged PFI activists have been accused of carrying out murders of several workers of the RSS and other Hindu organizations in both Kerala and Karnataka. In 2014, a Kerala government affidavit in the High Court acknowledged that PFI activists were involved in at least 27 political murders, 86 murder attempts and more than 125 cases of instigating religious tensions. Cases have been filed against PFI members for organizing terror camps in Telangana, a mob attack on a police station in Karnataka in 2020 and many more. The list is only getting bigger. The Enforcement Directorate has accused several other members of the outfit of money laundering. The group stands accused of involvement in the Delhi riots of 2020, instigating communal tensions during the anti-CAA protests and during protests over the Hathras gang rape case in Uttar Pradesh. The PFI and its affiliate, the SDPI, deny any wrongdoing and allege a political witch hunt. But investigating agencies insist their case against the organization has never been stronger. A nationwide ban after the nationwide crackdown could just be imminent. Bureau Report, India Today.
And this brings us to our lead question of the day. Are these grounds to ban the radical Islamist organization, the Popular Front of India? What needs to be done to ensure PFI does not emerge in a new form? Like Simi became PFI, the activities continued even though the Students' Islamic Movement of India was banned. And is there merit in the contention that all of this is being done to other the Muslims, to victimize the Muslims in this regime? Joining me on India First, Colonel Singh is the former Chief of the Enforcement Directorate and a former Delhi Police top cop. He's dealt with terror up close and personal. Also with me is Binay Singh, a Senior Research Fellow at the Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Research Foundation. And Majid Hydari is a respected political analyst, joins us on the show. And I want to begin by asking you, Majid. The FIR registered in the arrest says PFI was following a sinister plan. Use the constitution and national flag to move forward towards imposition of Sharia in India, to move towards a Sharia state. Sir, the aim, according to the FIR, was to turn India into an Islamic state by 2047. This isn't hearsay. This isn't coming from sources. This is coming on the basis of an FIR that has been registered on the basis of documents that have been recovered in these raids, sir.
Well, Gaurav Sahab, if PFI was really into any kind of terror activity which was supposed to be a threat to our national security, our national sovereignty, I will say don't ban PFI, bomb PFI. But when you talk about Islamic Caliphate, let me remind you that just last year in December, we had a Dharam Sansad in Haridwar where those clerics resolved that India should be a Hindu Rashtra. And thereafter, there was no NIA raid, no UAP Act on them, no ED, nothing doing, everything is fine. Just this year, an MLA from Haryana said that he has pledged to make India into a Hindu Rashtra. If you don't have issues with Hindu Rashtra, why do you have issues with Islamic Caliphate?
Sir, because that's not all. Sir, that's not all. You are very conveniently picking one part. Fomenting terror, killing people, radicalizing people, killing people and radicalizing people on a very large scale. Kerala terror camps coming up across and people from across the country going there for training. All of this is a cause for grave concern.
It was a martial art training camp. What is terror about that? You know we have icons like Tiger Shroff, we have icons like Akshay Kumar, then that way they are supposed to be the biggest terrorists in the country because they are glamorizing martial arts.
So OMS Salam and Abu Bakr were creating Tiger Shroff. Really? Let me get Mr. Colonel Singh to respond to this. Is it as frivolous as you make it out to be, or is this actually the cover fire that some intellectuals in our country may try to give to a radical Islamist organization? And I want to understand from you, Mr. Colonel Singh, is this fear-mongering? Because what's the big deal about a martial arts training camp, as Majid Hydari puts it, being organized in the jungles of Kerala? He says, after all, we all look up to Tiger Shroff and other martial art experts in our country.
See, I'll respond to it considering what is important of our country, the national security and internal security. And any type of dissipative force in the country can be utilized by the terrorist organizations based in Pakistan and other countries. Now, if we see in Assam, the PFI has been found to be connected with Ansarullah terror group, which is based in Bangladesh. And this terror group is supported by Al-Qaeda. So therefore, there are linkages are coming that PFI sections are connected with the terrorist organizations abroad. Now, this certainly is a question of internal security. And whenever the question of internal security comes, one has to take action. One cannot say that we'll wait for a time and this is nothing. See, then comes to the camp which we are talking. Yes, certainly camp as such may not be anything wrong, but what is the purpose of those camps? Why they are in the jungles? Why they are not in the cities? So you have to see the purpose of the camps. Whole purpose of the organizations. There have been cases of murders, there have been cases of extortion, and they have been registered. It is not that those cases have not been registered. And when the agencies are finding the linkages of this organization with the terror organizations outside, one has to be very careful about the internal security and action has to be taken.
Okay. Mr. Binay Singh, I want to understand, when PFI says that these are very desperate attempts to silence voices of dissent in our country, nothing was found against, for example, that Kerala journalist Siddique Kappan, and the Supreme Court granted him bail. This just goes on to show that a hawa is being created. You know, there's a lot of fear-mongering that's happening but where is the hard evidence that PFI is involved in either establishing a Sharia state in India or breaking India into pieces?
Gaurav, a piece of suggestion from my side to my fellow panelists like Majid Hydari. So every day we discuss something. Now we are discussing PFI. Very recently we had discussed, farmer protest, and we come up with our own views. You must know that this week the CPI Maoists, they have come up with a declaration, a 22-page declaration. That is not what I am saying. They have completed 18 years of merger with CPI Maoist and PWG. In 2004 they merged. They have completed 18 years, and they have come with a 22-page document this week which mentions that we were victorious and our people, our members, CPI Maoist members, they participated in the farmer protest. This is not what I am saying. This is the document of the CPI Maoist itself. So whenever we speak something on the national television channel, or it is a platform, a lot of people watch you, many of them follow you. So your emotions and my emotions can be misused, and this is a tactic, this is a strategy which the PFI was using. And nothing is random. Just in 45 minutes, 20 states, 95 raids, 100 arrests on the very first day. That means our agencies have done a massive homework. There is a massive homework behind these massive raids. And one more thing, certain set of questions, I can see in the last 3 days, there is a pattern in the questions like what Mr. Majid Hydari just did. First question, why the late action? The second question, why to debate? Let the court decide. The third question, the government is targeting the Muslims. The fourth, why we are against PFI, but what about RSS and what about Dharm Sansad? And the last, who are you to blame? So they have come up with a certain set of questions, and I can see a pattern in this question.
Fair enough, but where are the answers? We are a democracy, we are not a police state. Mr. Binay Singh, where is evidence of complicity of PFI in breaking our country?
Gaurav, this is not the first time. Look what happened in Patna. The police or the NIA has come up with several revelations that there was something to target the Prime Minister. So leave this issue. Just go back few years back in Bhima Koregaon. In Bhima Koregaon, the main accused in conspiring to kill the Prime Minister was Rona Wilson. And Rona Wilson was trying to lobby for PFI to get the ban lifted on PFI in Jharkhand. The second instance I am telling you, this is on record. The second instance, there were people, I can name them. One was Anjani Kumar Mal and the second was Basanta Kumari.
Sir,
second was Basanta Kumari. Just 10
hard
seconds.
instances of PFI being involved in breaking India. My questions are
Just
very specific. I will come back to you. Specific instances that will stand scrutiny in a court of law, not conjectures. But Majid Hydari, from 2010 to 2022, police say evidence painstakingly gathered that PFI was out to not just weaken the country from within, but radicalize Muslim youth and use them in protests to break the country, like anti-CAA protests, riots, Hindu-Muslim riots, hijab, emotive issues to target the state, and perhaps, as the Phulwari Sharif document indicates, a show of strength that do not target minorities in this country.
Well, Gaurav sir, firstly, I feel that ahead of 2024 elections, we have some minority becoming a cannon fodder. I'm not naming that minority. On one hand, we have Honorable Mohan Bhagwatji walking that extra mile with that heartwarming gesture of meeting Muslims, going to madrasas, going to masjids. Really nice. We appreciate that. We salute him for that. But on the other side, we have the BJP government going for a crackdown for a party or a group led by a particular community. So that is something which is intriguing about what is going to happen ahead of the 2024 elections. What is going to be the cannon fodder for that? What is going to be the manifesto? Blah, blah, blah. And second point, which is very important here, is that we never raised these issues of threat to life, etc. when we had the cow vigilantism. Never NIA was brought
I'm sorry, I disagree. We raised it with equal amount of interest, because nobody should be allowed to violate the law. And my question then is, why equate PFI with Indian Muslims? It's an organization. That organization is being targeted. Why should it be seen as Muslims being targeted? But let me once again take this question to Mr. Colonel Singh. Sir, there are a lot of claims and theories, but to secure a conviction Hard evidence would be needed to be produced in a court of law. Sir, if agencies are going after this radical Islamist organization, Popular Front of India, for the past 12 years, sir, where is the corroborative evidence that this is an organization in jungles of Kerala? It's organizing terror training camps, weapons training is happening there, or they're out to create trouble in Karnataka, in Tamil Nadu, and now are spreading to Uttar Pradesh or Assam and other parts of this country.
See, there are hard evidences, and the agencies will put up before the court all these evidences. There are evidences they are connected with the foreign terrorist organizations. There are evidences that they are training people. There are evidences they are radicalizing people. There are evidences they are involved in murders cases. So it is, one cannot say there are no evidences. Certainly the agencies, they have collected the evidences, they have conducted the searches, and after this they will be putting this before the court.
Okay.
And at that time we will come to know precisely what are the hard evidences available. The agencies cannot arrest people without evidences. So they are doing it with knowingly what they are doing. They are doing with the evidences available with them. And the second thing is, we should not consider it a Muslim or Hindu issue. It is not a communal issue. It is an issue of national security. It is an issue of internal security. If there is any disruptive forces which are trying to create the terror in the area, trying to create the division in the society, which we are seeing is used by the external agencies, then we have to take action. The agencies
have to take action. Sir, Majid Hydari, why do you look at it as a Hindu-Muslim issue or a targeting of Muslims issue? This is, after all, a radical Islamist organization being targeted, and several Muslim organizations and individuals have come forward and said, yes, if they're out to break the country, target them. Let evidence be produced in a court of law.
See, firstly, our investigation agencies have been domesticated by BJP, and I can prove you with 3 facts. Since 2014, NI has not...
Sir, will you decide this, or will courts of law decide this? Will Majid Hydari decide it, or will courts decide in India?
No, I'll go by facts.
Or some Sharia court you want to establish?
No. Since 2014, NI has never booked anybody linked to saffron parties or ideology for that matter. And NI has been giving clean chit to even those involved in Malegaon, Makkah Masjid and other blasts. And then when you
sir,
look
it has to be on the basis of evidence produced. I am sorry, sir. I am sorry. You have to go by courts of law in India and not by conjectures. Like I said, no conjectures on one side, no conjectures on the other side either. Why are you making it out to be a targeting of Muslims? Does PFI represent Indian Muslims?
See, it's not about PFI representing Indian Muslims. It's
sir,
about looking at how things are going against Indian Muslims.
PFI
you have halal
Indian
issue,
Muslims,
you have azan issue, you have hijab issue, you have Gyanvapi issue, you have every issue somewhere linked to one community. I'm not naming that community. Why is it happening? Why all the things about one community? Why crackdown on one community? What about VHP? What about Bajrang Dal? What about ABVP? If VHP and Bajrang Dal have been declared militant outfits by American government, why don't you talk about those issues? Who is funding them? From where they get funds? From where
please respond. Please respond. This is specific targeting of one community is what Majid Hydari says.
No, it is not, Gaurav. Certainly not. I can say, because the Fulwari Sharif module, it was busted by the SHO Fulwari Sharif. His name is Ikrar Ahmed. He is a Muslim. So a Muslim has busted the Fulwari Sharif module. He is a SHO. He is a role model for the Indian youth or the Indian lovers. So how can this be a Hindu versus Muslim issue? This is certainly not. And the main point is that, look, Simi was banned. And if you go through the banning order, the tribunal's order, why Simi was banned, there are 10 points mentioned. And exactly these allegations that was mentioned in the Simi banning order that are labeled against PFI.
Okay.
The one is instigating Muslims on Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid, verdict delivered by Lucknow bench of Allahabad High Court. This is the Simi banning order. And the same thing what PFI is doing. You go to PFI's website, list we forget Babri Masjid photograph and you are instigating Muslims. The second is that they were targeting certain individuals. They are referring to, they were targeting, Simi was involved in targeting the Prime Minister. In Patna serial blast, in Ahmedabad serial bombings.
So I want to bring in...
PFI is involved in such kind of...
Okay, I want to bring in Mr. Colonel Singh to understand, sir, banning the Students Islamic Movement of India resulted in PFI coming up. The same leadership of Simi became the leadership of PFI. How do you prevent, if at all, the PFI is banned by this weekend or in the coming week, 10 days? Should that happen, how do you stop the same leadership starting another organization?
See, I believe that if the terror funds are blocked, then it helps in crippling the organizations. And the morphing takes place. You are absolutely right. If we take Lashkar-e-Taiba charity organization, Jamaatul Dawa, when there was a ban on it, it morphed into another organization, Falah-e-Insaniyat. So that's a possibility, but that possibility can be ruled out if we are able to pinpoint their finances, if they are able to attach their funds. And this time ED is also involved in the process, and I am sure that Enforcement Directorate will attach the terror funding of these organizations, and that will cripple these organizations.
Okay, before I let you go, sir, I want to understand from you, can there be a time-bound investigation and not an open-ended investigation? Will we know? Because those who say that, one, this is politically motivated, two, this is to other the Muslims. You start with one day hijab, one day Gyanvapi, one day you pick up this case of PFI. This is trying to other the Muslims or keep the Muslims on stand to at all times. Is that what is happening, Mr. Colonel Singh?
See, the various agencies, NIA, Enforcement Directorate and the local police have arrested many of their members. Now there is a clear-cut provision in the law that within a period of 2 to 3 months, upon the seriousness of the offence, I think in this case it will be 3 months, the charge sheet has to be filed in the court. And since charge sheet has to be filed, therefore we can say it is going to be a time-bound investigation.
Okay, we will track that story very, very closely. For joining me here on this India First special, Mr. Binay, Colonel Singh and Majid Haidari, many thanks. Will a charge sheet be filed? Will this organization be banned? Has the countdown to ban the Popular Front of India actually started? We'll track that story.